Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Stephen Haggerty. Today, I'm joined by the inventor of the $1 million collar, Rob Kessler. How are you today, Rob?
Fantastic, Steven. Yourself?
Very well, my friend. Very well. First and foremost, the $1 million collar. I mean, that's a fantastic name.
I can't tell you how many marketing companies told me it was a terrible name, but I think people generally get it and they like it. So
It rolls off the tongue, so
it does.
that's why I think it's a great name. But thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Let's jump straight into this. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about $1 million collar. I know you're a co-founder of some other things as well, so just tell me all, and then we can dive into the how.
So I'm in my 40s now. You can see the gray hair. I live in Los Angeles, California, with a nice little Cali flag over there. Oh, everything's reversed. Yeah, so I invented $1 million collar after looking at my wedding photos. I got married on the beach in Jamaica, and I just hated the way my shirt looked. And so I set to work off of fixing that when I got home from Jamaica. It took 3 years to perfect, and we've been on the market for about 4.5 years now.
Wow.
And then about a year ago, my partners and I decided that we were going to launch our own dress shirt with the technology already built in, which is the shirt that I'm wearing now called goTIELESS, the first shirt designed to be worn without a tie. So we do that. And on top of all that, I'm a 50-ton master captain. So my wife and I run a little yacht charter business out of LA here. And so
Love
that
it.
keeps us busy as well.
I used to be in the super yacht industry myself, so it's
love it. That's it.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a whole nother story we can talk about. That's a whole nother thing.
I got an invention for that. I got to get that. I got to get that one going.
Oh, really? Go
Yeah.
on. Briefly, what's the invention for that?
Oh, I can't. It's another one of those. Why didn't I think of that? Why has nobody thought of this?
It's a bilge pump that actually works well.
Yeah, you know. I don't need 9 bilge pumps on my 40-foot boat.
Exactly. But Rob, $1 million collar started off by you looking at a photo. That is an incredible story to start off with. But where do you then start? You look at the photo, you go, I'm not looking as dapper as I can. I could have done better. How do you then go from that to, I'm going to reinvent a collar?
Well, so, to me, I always would go to a dress shirt when I wanted to look nice when I went out. We'd go out to the bars, or we'd go out and hang out with our friends. Like, to me, the dress shirt is a guy's like staple piece. I can wear it untucked. I can wear it with a tie. I can wear it a million different ways, and depending on the occasion. I would say, a little bit OCD. And so when this side would hang down, or this side, I just didn't like the way that it looked when it wasn't symmetrical. So when I got married on the beach, even before I could say I do, my shirt was tucked under the lapel of my jacket. I just looked terrible and I hated it. So I came home from the wedding. I cut open a dress shirt. I shoved a piece of cardboard down the front and showed my new bride, and she was like, instantly, she's like, I get what you've been, bugging about this whole time, all these years about complaining about the way the shirt looked, because she'd be ready to go and I'm still ironing, trying to get this thing to sit the way it should. Everything else out in the market, I Googled everything. It was all about the collar, some kitschy collar stay. I mean, the magnetics, I like the magnetics. I use them. But that keeps the collar in. There was nothing in the placket of the shirt, and there was never ever any structure here, because dress shirts were never designed to be worn without a tie. So they never had to have structure. So, obviously cardboard wasn't going to work. And so I went around the house and found every piece of plastic, from milk cartons to mini blinds to little cutting boards. I mean, I tried everything.
At the time is probably thinking you've gone completely nuts.
Yeah. She was super supportive. I probably questioned a lot of the things, but I had to like work through certain stuff I knew wouldn't work. But I'd wash, dry, it seemed to be fine. Then I sent it to the dry cleaner and it would just melt to the shirt. And I quickly realized that dry cleaning, they use like 400 plus degrees Fahrenheit to flash press the shirt for a quick flash. And it would just melt every standard plastic that was on the market. So I looked at every plastics company. I tried all their stuff. And then I finally partnered with an international plastics company to develop the material that is $1 million collar. It's 100% made in America. It's insanely high heat resistant, to double the temperature of dry cleaning. It's soft enough to be sewn through. It's flexible enough. And it's lightweight. So this is what it looks like. And here's my new puppy.
Love
She's
that.
a little attention girl. Get down.
That's all good.
So yeah, it looks like this. It goes right inside of the shirt in here.
Yeah.
Cool thing is I found out that every dress shirt's made about exactly the same. So there's always 2 layers here and 2 layers in the collar band. It gets sewn into your shirt once and it lasts the life of the shirt. It looks awesome.
Amazing. How did it feel when you cracked that, when you found that right plastic, when you partnered with that company and you start to see the shirt really form in a, I'm guessing, a commercial manner as well, right?
Well, the timing was perfect. While all this was happening, I owned a screen printing and embroidery business. So I was doing that during the day and working on this when I could. And my wife and I had decided to sell everything we had, including that business, to move to Los Angeles from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So literally within about a month or 2 before I moved, we'd figured it out. We got it all dialed in. And so that was great. And then we took 10 days to move across the country, just try to see stuff as we were going. And the patent attorney called on that 10-day travel and said, hey, your patent was approved. So it like all kind of fell into place right at the right time as we had committed 100% to doing this.
Incredible. So what was the next step then? You got the, you've cracked the shirt, you've got the patent. Now you got to sell it.
So we called every major brand we could. My business partner, Steve, is incredible at cracking into the top level of any corporation. He used to work for Salesforce. So that was his job, was to get to the C-suite. And so we talked to Ralph Lauren and Perry Ellis and Phillips Van Heusen, who's the biggest licensee of dress shirts, and went to all these Proper Cloth. We went to everybody. And it was so brand new that they were just like, I don't know if my shirt does this. I don't know if this is an issue. I don't know if this is a problem. Our pricing was like insane because we didn't know, what we were even getting into and how many shirts these guys make and how cheap they can make them for. So we went back to the drawing board and said, all right, well, let's prove the concept. And so we went direct to consumer, which is kind of a tough challenge. I mean, think about any product you buy, you can just get it from Amazon and start using it. Ours, you have to order from us and then go to your tailor or your dry cleaner and have it installed into the shirt just to use it. So it was a multi-step process. But we've managed to sell about 300,000 sets so far to people in 117 countries. I think people see enough of an issue with the collapsing front of the shirt that it's worth the effort to get it done. And so, yeah, we're all over the place. It's crazy. We're in about 600 and some dry cleaners and tailors, and
amazing.
Just trying to get it all out there. And now we've started re-engaging those conversations with the big brands. We're talking to one company right now that wants to do a 2 million unit test. And in the meantime, we started our own dress shirt because they were taking so long, and we said, we'll just create our own category and make a shirt of our own. So
how did it feel, 4 years on, that amount of units sold, you've proved your concept. Do you still feel the desire to work with those big names, or are you more on that fence of going, actually, we could probably just carry on growing, carry on expanding? Like you said, you're doing your own shirt now.
I'm torn. I mean, I think that for the success of the company, we're going to license and we're going to get it into millions and millions of shirts. I mean, 1 billion shirts were sold in the US last year alone. So the market is massive. There's unlimited possibilities with that. And if we grow a big brand out of it on top of it, I mean, then that's great. I mean, we're actually over 75% sold out of our inventory right now because we can't get anything else made. Everything's slowed down because of COVID. So we were kind of stuck with the inventory we had with only 3 colors and 2 cuts and just normal guy sizes. We're almost sold out. So we're finally able to reorder. We got 5 new colors coming in. We're restocking one of our original colors. And so it's been kind of a really crazy ride, especially in like the craziest time. The last 6 months have been insane.
Talk to me about goTIELESS then. At what point did you think, why don't we create our own shirt? Why don't we do the whole package, as it were?
So we originally were going to do a shirt. We did a Kickstarter in like 2014. I hadn't even figured everything out with the product yet. And and we didn't get funded, but unequivocally the feedback was, why can't I upgrade the shirts I already own? And why not license the technology? Why try to compete? And so we followed what people said. And we did successfully that way. And we heard so many no's from all these brands, and they just came up with the most ridiculous excuses. we finally just said, let's do it on our own. And actually what pushed me over the edge was right after my 40th birthday, I heard a podcast of Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank with the UNTUCKit guys. And they talked about their story. And I'm like, God, it is so similar to ours, yet they've created this $200 million brand on something that is not proprietary at all. I mean, of course, those are one of the guys we went and talked to, because anybody wearing an untucked shirt is never going to wear a tie. So we thought it was a perfect partnership. And even they blew us off. So finally, we just said, let's just do it on our own. And within 2 weeks of hearing that podcast, I had a prototype shirt already in hand, and we were off to the races. And we did a kind of a beta test with people that we knew, friends and family and current customers, $1 Million Collar. We offered 200 shirts and we sold them out in 72 hours.
Wow.
We got those all produced. We shipped them out. Some people liked some things, some people didn't. We took all that feedback, and then we went out and made 3 new shirts, which this is one of, our blue with navy, our Pioneer. And we made 900 shirts off of that run. And that's where we're at right now, with like a couple hundred shirts left and sold out of 8 or 9 sizes. So
why do you think you were getting pushback? Is it because, you guys are effectively, of course you've invented this, but you're also really, like you said, you're someone that is OCD about it. So it's not every guy in the world is thinking, oh, my collar is a little bit out of line.
I think the feedback we got and the pushback's always been, to us, kind of a little ridiculous. Some people were, I don't think this happens to my shirts, which obviously it does. Otherwise, I wouldn't be selling the product, because I didn't make shirts at that time. So clearly,
this one problem is only happening to you, Rob. You're you're a unique individual.
Yeah, I mean, then there was the manufacturing issues, which my product is insanely easy to add at manufacturing. We've actually, because we were going to make our own shirt, we understood that process from the beginning. So we were able to, I mean, it just, honestly, I think these companies are so big and it's so hard to make an adjustment that it's not worth the effort to them. And that's why little companies like UNTUCKit and us and Proper Cloth, these small brands kind of pop up and become big companies, because they see an opportunity that these other guys just aren't able to or willing to take advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. What was the hardest part then during those times of that pushback, even though, like you said, that there are quite ridiculous comments on the pushbacks, but for you as a founder of still getting up every day, pushing this product, tweaking it, inventing it better, how did you make sure that you yourself stayed motivated, stayed inspired to carry on?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard no 1,000 and 10,000 times. I don't know.
Classic thing. You only need one yes.
Yeah. I just knew that we were onto stuff. People that I would meet, and if I was able to do a face-to-face and say, here's what it is, here's how we do it. I mean, I wear dress shirts every day, obviously, because I'm always on display. And I've heard some of the most successful business people I know, say that this is such a great idea and it's going to be such a game changer, that helped motivate me, hearing from outside people. I knew when PVH, like I said, the biggest dress shirt licensee, when they came out with a stretch collar while we were coming out with this, I'm like, these guys are 10 years behind the market. I mean, who cares about a stretch collar when you're not even buttoned all the way up? So,
and had you already approached them about yours?
Yeah, I was talking to them about it. I'd sent them samples, and then they come out with this. We're working on the stretch collar. I'm like, the statistics in the U.S. are over 90% of men rarely, if ever, wear a necktie.
Yeah.
So who cares about it? I mean, you're missing the mass majority of the market, and that's why I know that we're onto the right thing, because nobody's wearing ties. And once I can show them what I do, I've got a lot of celebrities that will never go on TV without having this in, and a lot of fashion people, a lot of stylists that are like, dude, this has got to be in every shirt. So, we're hitting some of the right places. We're doing it small, and eventually, our 10 years of sowing the oats they're gonna all come up at the same time.
I have no doubt. That's a classic example of when a larger company can't maneuver quickly enough in the marketplace and bring a product to that market, whereas you're small, you're nimble. You can adjust, you can bring new products on super quickly. You don't have to have 6 months of meetings and 6 months of saying yes, no, maybe. You just have your really slick company structure. For you, even though when you grow, is that a something you're aware of, so that you're something that you're gonna carry on, making sure that you have that streamlined process?
Yeah, I think you always hope to. We actually made this first 2 rounds of shirts here in Los Angeles because I wanted to be close to the process to be able to say, no, this isn't right, or let's adjust this, and kind of be able to do it on the fly. So I like having that close. And I'll tell you that the dress shirt industry, or the clothing industry, is notorious unpredictable, notoriously like you just can't rely on anything. I mean, I owned a screen printing and embroidery business. I never missed a deadline one time in 9 years. I like having control of everything because then I know. And so I can see us owning our own factory and doing our own thing, and being able to sub that out because there's such a need in the market.
The dress shirt industry so unreliable?
It's clothing in general. I have a bunch of friends that are in clothing here in Los Angeles, and they're like, if they tell you 2 weeks, it's going to be 6. And I'm like, wow. I can't, that will make me insane. So
that keeps you up at night.
Oh God. Why? Like, why? Just like, just do it right. Like, just do it. Just do what you say you're going to do. That's my whole philosophy. And I hate when people don't.
100% agree. Talk to me about the structure of the business then. So, goTIELESS, you and your co-founder, is it just you guys still, or have you started building out a team or anything like that?
So goTIELESS is still fairly fresh. It's the same 3 people that are in both companies. My dad was actually an investor early on in $1 Million Collar, completely unsolicited. So, that was probably some of the best
jumped on him
motivation. Yeah, he's like, dude, I love what you're doing. I'm like, I didn't even ask you, and you told me. So, it's a good thing when he's ready to hop in. So, we talked about doing the shirts. He said he wanted to be involved. He recently retired from his jewelry business, and so he's got a little bit more time on his hands. He knows how to, he grew from 2 employees to 150 in a multi-million-dollar company. So he knows how to do that scaling. So it's really great to have somebody who's been through all of those. So he's kind of a in-house advisor for us. My partner, Steve, really handles the sales and talking about how to distribute it and get it out. And I'm kind of the background. I deal with all the logistics, making sure the orders get out, making sure that the production's coming in. I handle all those little details. So kind of all got our own little things, and just try to push it forward. Once we kind of hit the ground and really get some scale, we'll have 9 colors available within the next 60 days. Now we've got a company, we've got some stuff, we got some revenue, and we can look to expand after that. I'm
curious to know what was the thinking behind doing it as 2 separate brands rather than having $1 Million Collar expand into the shirt side of things?
We didn't want to confuse the licensing side of it. I think, $1 Million Collar is going to end up kind of becoming the B2B business, and goTIELESS will be the B2C business. So it just gives us 2 opportunities, so we can grow up goTIELESS into these shirts. And we really want it to be head to toe men's and women's upscale casual, business casual kind of defined clothing line. $1 Million Collar is essentially going to be the technology and be able to maneuver how all that technology works.
Yeah, fantastic. One of these classic, cheesy, awful questions that I really love to ask, but looking back on your last 4 years, was there anything glaringly obvious now that you think, oh, why the hell did we do that? Like, why did we waste our time on that? Why did we waste our time on the cardboard for 6 months,
Yeah. So when I was coming up with this and learning about the industries and where we could go with it, what I thought was the greatest idea ever was dry cleaners. The smallest dry cleaner in the US sees 200 dress shirts a day. Wow. Well, if you care about enough about the way you look that you pay somebody to clean your clothes and make sure that you're always looking, to me, that's our customer is already going through the front door. Yeah. And so, I mean, the big dry cleaners are doing 5, 10, 20,000 shirts a day, these monsters.
No wonder that's a good money laundering business back
I mean, so the volume was there. I mean, I just thought those guys were there. So we went to a dry cleaning trade show in Vegas. We were like inundated with prospects and people wanting to know more information and getting involved. And so I told our ad guy to shut off all of our B2C ads because these guys were like, oh my God, everything's coming to fruition. And then almost nothing happened from that show. So our B2C kind of slowly died off. and then our B2B that we thought was going to be this insane distribution channel. We had owners of close to 1,500 locations that were like wanting information. This is amazing. Let's do it. And then it turns out that they just, you've been to the dry cleaner, you walk in, the girl at the front says, how many shirts you have? All right, I'll see you in 2 days. They'll be ready. She's not a salesperson. So that has been a long process. We've developed all of the materials for these dry cleaners, and the guys that are on board now, the 600 we have, the ones that are doing it are really cranking out, product. And so that pivoted us a little bit. And I thought that was going to be like this game changer, but
exactly. It's almost a shame though, isn't it? Because it must be frustrating for you as a founder and the inventor of this, that you at one week you have all these dry cleaners, super enthusiastic, super geared up. Like you said, you tell your ad guy, stop doing the ads. We've hit the money, right? We're in the money now. And then it fizzles out. How did you handle that frustration? Was it uncalled for? Was it called for? Did you understand it at the time?
Well, I mean, it took time to figure out that these guys just weren't jumping on board. I mean, we're calling them week after week after week, and all of a sudden 6 months have gone by. That show was in July, and it's now the end of the year, and it's like our sales have leveled off. And it's like, and now we've been pushing on those guys now for 2 more years on top of that. And so, yeah, it's super frustrating because number one, we had all that excitement. I mean, Dickies, which is a huge brand, had a booth down the aisle from us. Our booth was literally, we had the smallest booth, a 10 by 10 at this huge trade show. People were piling over into the aisles all week. They were like, what are you guys giving away $100 bills over there? Like, why is your booth so insane? And Dickies is even noticing this stuff. And so we just thought we were onto this thing, and it just has not really gone anywhere since. And so, we've had that, and, we're dealing with that and figuring out how to move on and move forward. We're partnering with a company that is a dry cleaning marketing company. And so they already have the relationship with these guys. They're one of our best customers as it is. They also own a dry cleaner, so they test stuff through their own facilities, and then they push it out to their customers. And so we're partnering with them, and they're going to take it. I mean, it just takes it off our plate, and they already have the relationship. So
I can't quite imagine what a dry cleaning conference is like. Does it smell? Do you walk in and it smells like a dry cleaner's?
No, the machines are insane. Some of them are the reason the show is 4 days long, which is crazy.
Yeah,
is that
any conference 4 days is a top.
Well, it takes days to set up some of these monster machines. I mean, you can throw in, all the bedding from a hotel in one end and come out clean on the other. There's no like washer and dryer. It washes, tumbles down this huge barrel, and it's pretty cool. There's folding machines where you can just throw a sheet on and it'll come out folded, and towels, and all you use is air, and you hear all this compressed gas, air and stuff going all over, and a lot of noises. And I mean, there's tons of people. So
it's perfect. I mean, like you said, perfect.
It's not like a party thing, but
it's not the conversations afterwards are wild, I bet.
Yeah. I think I'd open a third location.
Let's get a double dryer.
Yeah.
Let's pull the trigger.
Well, and that's the thing too. These guys are spending $50,000 to save, 25 cents on a shirt. And it's like, I can make you $9 on a shirt if you just add this. Like so
they're coming around though. They're coming around.
They're getting there. They'll know. If that 2 million unit test comes through, everybody's going to know who we are, and then it changes everything. So,
I mean, that you'll be killing after that. When did you find out about that?
Well, that's the frustrating thing. They reached out to us last October and said, we want this. We want to do something. We went in, one thing happened, another thing happened, and then COVID happened. And
2020 just is a write-off.
Yeah. So, now we're almost a year later and still hasn't gone anywhere. Like you said, those monster companies just take forever to do anything. So
meetings over meetings over meetings. It's so frustrating. Let's talk about the future then. Other than that possible 2 million tests, which would be incredible, what else are you doing with the company? Where do you want this to go? I could honestly imagine seeing you on Shark Tank and absolutely killing it.
I would love that opportunity. I mean, I only know so much. I'm kind of the idea guy. When my partner and my dad and I get on the phone, it can spiral off quickly because I'm talking about, I'm starting to talk, and then one thing leads to another, and then my brain's over here, and I think the dress shirts, goTIELESS, has a huge opportunity. It's proving that people will buy a shirt from an unknown brand just because of this technology. And so if we can keep expanding on that, keep that going, it's just going to add more eyeballs to our company. We're looking at other revenue sources within that brand. I think that goTIELESS is such a great name. It explains exactly what it is. You know,
So
we are kind of defining business casual. It's never really been defined. I mean, think if you get invited to a business casual event, you're always like, all right, can I wear jeans? Can I wear this? Like, we're going to try to define what business casual
And then there's
means.
always that one person in a full-on suit, and you're like, Jesus.
Well, it's a casual suit. It's not, you know, it's not my Armani. It's a
linen suit, you know.
Yeah.
I can wear it in the middle of summer. I just got a message from a viewer, and they're like, boy, his shirt does look crisp.
It is, you know, it'll never.
It's working.
You know, we've got ads.
Magic.
It just bounces right back. So
is one of my final questions is goTIELESS just in the US, or have you guys sort of penetrated other countries?
So we're talking to some shipping companies. It's insane. I order stuff from all over the world, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. But I'm dealing with FedEx right now. If I send a shirt to Canada, no problem. I can get it there at almost the same rate that I ship domestically. But if you want to exchange that shirt back because it's not the right fit, it will cost me like $70 to send it back, and then send you another. So there's no money, there's no profit in it.
Now it's almost in people's mindset to order 7, send back 5.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and Amazon has totally screwed everybody over when it comes to that. So now you have to like follow their, you know, way of doing things. And we just want to provide an over-the-top customer service experience. We can do that easily domestically. It just gets really challenging in the logistics internationally. So I think we'll get there in a couple of years, but for now, the best thing is order $1 Million Collar. You already know the shirts that you love. They already fit. You don't have to worry about that. $1 Million Collar fits in every single shirt. It's easy to install. I mean, outside of the US, people are used to tailoring and getting things altered to fit right. The US people, they buy it off the rack, it either fits or it doesn't, and they'll throw it away. But I think internationally, that's why we've sold so well with minimal marketing internationally, is because people are used to just, no worries, I'll just take it to my tailor, they'll throw it in, no problem. I mean, I taught myself how to sew, and I'm a knucklehead, and so it's insanely easy to do.
Maybe that's what you need to have, like a whole info bit on your website about sewing it in yourself.
I've had a bunch of guys say, you know what, I watched your video and you don't look that smart, so I bought a sewing machine and I'm figuring it out myself.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I like it. Anyway. I like it. I can have fun with it.
Rob, listen, $1 Million Collar, goTIELESS. I have no doubt that you guys are going to absolutely dominate and go from strength to strength. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that growth. Final question. How do people find out more about it? What's the websites? How can they purchase some?
So we own all the domains. So we have $1milliondollarcollar.com. We also have that on all the social medias. So you can find us at $1 Million Collar. goTIELESS, same thing. It's goTIELESS. So we have all the social medias for that, and the website. Amazon, we're worldwide on $1 Million Collar on Amazon. So if you want to order, you can get it from almost anywhere, or our website. And we're everywhere.
Love it. Rob, thank you so much for coming on Founders 365. Your story is fantastic. Love it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thanks everyone for listening and watching. This has been Founders 365 with me, Stephen Haggerty.